What's up, veterans, transitioning service members, military members? Thank you for tuning into this episode and live video for how to rebuttal, identify, and challenge an unfavorable VA medical opinion. So maybe you've had your CMP examination, right, and it has not went in your favor. What do you do? What are your next steps? I'm going to talk about it right here live with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service to our country. I am a veteran serving veterans, and put out this information so that you have the information you need to be in the best position to win your claim for yourself, your family, your benefits, and your future. So if you've received a bad CMP exam, there's a strong chance you've also received an unfavorable VA medical opinion for your service connection, which could result in your VA disability claim being denied. So the great thing that I want to tell you, and I'm going to be going through here, are you have options to fight back. I'm going to explain what they are, and you can do so legally and ethically. Okay. So we're going to be talking about that, and I'm going to get right into it. Some of the key points today are unfavorable VA medical opinions. Maybe you've had your compensation and pension exam and it didn't go as planned. You were seen for maybe 3 minutes. None of your medical evidence was used. You need to be going into this exam with a note. You need to be taking notes and be very aware of what's going on. And maybe you have received a VA medical opinion that was unfavorable and included a negative nexus statement, such as less likely than not, indicating the examiner did not find a connection between whatever condition it is that you filed for and your military service. So this type of negative medical opinion usually stems from a bad compensation and pension exam and can lead to a denial of VA disability benefits, usually, and unless appropriately challenged. So you need to make sure that you know what to do if this has happened to you. And maybe you're listening right now, and I hope this helps you, right? I'm going to talk about how to request a new CMP exam, why private independent medical opinions, IMOs, are so important, how to get them, when to submit a private rebuttal letter if you're facing a reduction or you faced a bad compensation and pension examiner. Okay. So what is an unfavorable VA medical opinion? An unfavorable VA medical opinion stems from a bad compensation and pension exam, and it contains a negative nexus statement that will likely lead to a claim denial. So the nexus statement is very important within that disability benefits questionnaire because it addresses whether your disability is at least as likely as not or more likely than not, in fact, highly probable, related to your military service. A nexus is a link. It service connects. Remember, your compensation and pension exam is for whatever condition you filed for. You're seeing a doctor that is contracted by the VA, QTC, Optum, LHI. They are sending you an email and they are filling out a disability benefits questionnaire. And within that disability benefits questionnaire, which is available for public access, by the way, you can Google it, whatever condition you're filing for, they are writing a nexus statement and they're saying it is less likely than not or more likely than not. Okay. If you see phrases like less likely than not or not due to in your medical opinion, it means the VA examiner did not find a connection between your condition and your service, making a denial of benefits likely. So let me give you an example. You file a claim for your back pain. The CMP examiner writes, it is less likely than not that your back pain is related to your military service, and there is no evidence of a documented in-service event, injury, or illness. The veteran's back pain is less likely due to their civilian employment as a construction worker. That is all negative in your favor, or not in your favor, in the VA's favor. This negative nexus statement and explanation will probably lead to a claim denial unless you challenge the CMP examiner's findings. So what do you do? How do you challenge it? You need to know what to do. Okay, if you receive a negative VA medical opinion, here are specific steps to take to challenge and discredit it depending on your situation. Okay, request a new CMP exam is number one. If your compensation and pension exam was inadequate or inaccurate, not fair, was biased, you felt that the questions were just off topic, not related to what you are going through, and the VA has not yet denied your claim, you can always request a new exam. Acting very quickly and promptly is very important. It's mission critical. You need to call the VA hotline immediately. Dial 1-800-827-1000, report the issues with your exam, explain what went wrong, and request the VA to schedule a new CMP exam. If you do not get the proper help on that hotline, respectfully hang up, call them back, okay? Call them back until you get somebody that's going to do something and make sure that it's in your medical record as well. And also do not forget about the Vera hotline as well. VERA, Vera hotline. You can reach out to your regional office and someone can get back to you, and you can, I would do both. I would call the 1-800 hotline and hit up the Vera hotline as well. But you need to report that it was not fair and why, respectfully. Just stay calm, cool, calm, and collective. Okay. You can also write a detailed memorandum for record. As I say in every video, if you're going to a compensation and pension exam, you need to take notes. You need to know what is in your active record. You need to know what is in your file. You need to know what you're claiming, why you're claiming it, and what happened, right? And look, if you come with in-service treatment, stressor, or diagnosis, and it's in your medical records, there's no reason why you should not get it. And remember, the reason why you maybe would not get it is if you're missing continuity of care. Okay, continuity of care of symptoms is very important. Don't let a lot of time go in between without getting continuation of care for whatever you're filing for. Continue to get treated for it. Continue to let people know what's up with it. Continue to take care of yourself. It is mission critical that you do that. The VA is looking for that. If there's a lot of space or gaps in between, you need to explain why. You moved, you couldn't do it due to job, whatever that may be, but make sure that you have a good track record. Make sure that you do not stop complaining about it. Too many veterans stop complaining about their conditions. And even when you get your rating, you still need to get treatment. You still need to. Don't ever stop. It is very important. Don't assume because you're permanent in total. Just don't assume anything with the VA and the government. I'm telling you, things pop off, things happen, benefits stop. Look, I remember being in Afghanistan and or going to Afghanistan and them telling us that we're not going to get a paycheck. Oh gosh, that was back in 2014, I believe it was 2013 or 14. There was something up with the fiscal budget, and it's like, hey, y'all aren't going to get your paycheck. And I was stationed at Fort Carson. I believe that's where I was. It's like, what in the world? You're not going to pay me. So you just gotta just take care of yourself is what I'm saying. Okay. Document your experience in detail, right? Just like in the military, include facts such as examiner's name, what was said, why the exam was inadequate or inaccurate. For example, if the CNP examiner just pencil whipped, saw you for 3 minutes, assessing your condition or dismiss your statements, note that in your MFR. Upload it to your va.gov account. Write on there, hey, I attest this to be true, right? And the whole truth, but and all of that. Make sure you're honest with it. Make sure you write that. Just take notes and you can upload it to your va.gov, right, account under the claim in question to ensure it's included in your file. Hey, Mr. Miss Rader, VA, I did not get a fair compensation and pension exam. They didn't even take the time. I asked them if they had my records. They didn't want to see what I had. They didn't have them. It was very unprofessional. I was asked only about my childhood when I was in there for PTSD. Make sure that you document everything. So I want to give you an example. If you attend a CMP exam for, let's call it PTSD, and the examiner failed to ask about your in-service stressor or events or mischaracterize your mental health symptoms, you should call the VA hotline, document it in a memorandum for record, MFR, and immediately request a new CMP exam. Call that 1-800-827-1000, hit up that Vera line, make sure that you have notes, okay? Number 2, right? Get a private medical opinion. Private medical opinions are helpful. They're not guarantees, but they're very, very helpful. And they're one of the benefits and one of the things that you can have in your arsenal and tool bag, veterans, that can help you. Because you got to remember, when you submit up your VA claim, I want you to think about this. It goes to a rater that works for the VA, and they are adhering to budget. I'm not saying they don't like veterans or don't love veterans, but you'll never talk to that rater, okay? Never, ever will you. They are adhering to budget and VA and boss and whatever they have going on at their office that they're located at. Then you got to remember, you go to a compensation and pension examiner that is contracted by who? The Department of Veterans Affairs. They pay them to assess you. Optum, Veterans Evaluation Services, QTC, LHI, they pay them to evaluate you, not you, but the VA does, okay, to give them back an opinion. So remember, you're going up and it's already lopsided because we already don't get all the help that we need while in service We already don't know what to expect walking into these compensation and pension exams. So you got to take notes. And one of the things that you can have in your tool bag, if you need it, you don't need it all the time, but is a private independent medical opinion. If you do need a private independent medical opinion from an honest, integral doctor, look in the description of my video. Dr. Sharma, Dr. Lopez, Quality Nexus Letters, Dr. Patel, they can help you. They're going to look at your case and make sure that they can do it. They will not pencil whip anything. They have nothing to do with me. I just know that they're honest and integral, and I want to save you the hassle of getting screwed over, gypped over, or paying gazillions of dollars for a Nexus letter. If you need one, and if you don't know that you need one, reach out, hit us up via email, ask us if you need one, and we'll do everything we can to get back to you. We get a lot of inquiries, but we'll do our best to get back to you. So what is a private independent medical opinion? It's also called a nexus letter and can effectively challenge and discredit a bad compensation pension exam and a negative medical opinion. How do you use it? A private healthcare provider can write a detailed independent medical opinion that explains why your condition is at least as likely as not or highly probable caused or made worse by your military service. This document can counteract a very bad negative medical opinion and nexus statement from a VA compensation and pension examiner. Appeal options. If your claim has already been denied, submit the independent medical opinion, add it with new and relevant evidence to your supplemental claim to introduce new evidence. If you're challenging a denial without new evidence, file a higher level review for a fresh look at your file from a more senior level claims adjudicator. Okay. They can look at that. So if it's a clear and unmistakable error, you know that you provided stuff, you know that the evaluation of your rating was not fair, do a higher level review. If you're going to provide a nexus letter and you're going to provide new and relevant evidence, you can do it, right? Remember, you can do a higher level review, right? And you can always supplement and always present new evidence. But remember to keep going and be proactive, continue to get treatment that's going to help you if you do have to supplement something in the future. So let me give you an example. If you were denied service connection for, let's call it PTSD, because the examiner claimed they were unrelated to service, and you know that you have a CAB, a combat action badge on your DD-214, and you know what happened in Iraq, right? And maybe you get a buddy statement, and then you get an independent medical opinion. You want to submit a supplemental claim. If they're flat out wrong, before I would pay for a independent medical opinion, if I have a Purple Heart or combat action badge or CIB or anything on my DD-214 and we're calling it PTSD and I know it's in my records, then I'm going to higher level review it and bring them back to looking at that, right? And just remember, make sure you're still continuing to get that treatment for PTSD or whatever claim it is that you're filing for, okay? But if you were denied, right, a private board certified psychiatrist or psychologist could write an IMO linking your condition to in-service events wherever you are at, or the stressful event such as exposure to loud noises, explosions, mortar rounds, time, service, location, whatever it may be, whatever that in-service trauma is, they can link it to that and provide medical and scientific literature to back it as well too. If you need a rebuttal letter, obtain a private rebuttal letter. If the VA discredits a private nexus letter you submitted with your claim, guess what? Your independent medical opinion, your person that wrote your claim should be able to write a rebuttal letter from the same private provider who wrote the letter. They can address the issues raised by the VA C&P examiner. What do you include? A rebuttal letter should explain why the initial nexus letter remains valid, provide additional evidence-based rationale, and clarify any misinterpretations or issues cited by the VA examiner. When do you use a rebuttal letter? It's particularly useful when submitting a supplemental claim after a VA claim denial based on a bad C&P examiner discrediting the probative value of a private nexus letter. So again, if you were denied service connection for, let's call it tinnitus, the VA C&P examiner discredited your probative value of, let's call it a private nexus letter, proving that you were around loud noises, proving that they overlooked your primary MOS, and on the sole basis that you paid for it, or PTSD or whatever, the private provider could write a rebuttal letter addressing the issue. The rebuttal letter could clarify that the nexus letter was based on an independent evidence-based medical evaluation, not influenced by payment, and supported by specific facts, such as medical scientific literature, diagnostic imaging, and a detailed review of your in-service physical records and demands. The provider could also explain that there is no prohibition against paid medical evidence for a VA claim, and you can turn it right back around on them and say, and by the way, you guys pay the compensation and pension examiner to do exams on veterans as well too. They charge a fee. Optum, QTC, LHI, they get paid for seeing you as well too, whether you win your claim or not. Okay, they do. So it's very, very important to know that, and it's important to know that you do have options to be able to fight back, and you need to know that. Okay, so if you've been denied, call. If your CMP examiner was not good before your denial letter, or before a bad outcome, call 1-800-827-1000. Hit up the Vera VERA hotline. Hit them up, right? Let them know that you want a new CMP exam. Let them know why it was documented. If you're going into your compensation and pension exam this week and you're listening, or you've had one, take notes. It's important. Remember, you can write a memorandum for record and you can upload that to your va.gov. This was wrong. They asked irrelevant questions. I attest this to be true. Write and take notes. Write the person's name down, who you saw, when you saw them, where you saw them, and what was wrong. Just be specific, be respectful, don't lose your cool, okay? It will work itself out, okay? You got to continue to fight, right? The 38 Code of Federal Regulations states that if in doubt, they got to go with the better of the evidence as well too, okay? They do. And I've seen better nexus letters say, hey, this nexus letter is more persuasive than this nexus letter, therefore this one wins, and we side with the veteran, and boom, we're giving you your benefits. So it's very important. There are ways to fight, and if you don't know what you're doing, don't just keep slinging mud at a wall. Get the help that you need. So an unfavorable VA medical opinion from a bad CMP exam does not mean that it's over with, okay? You can request a new exam. You can obtain an independent medical opinion. You can submit a private rebuttal letter. You can counteract the negative findings and build a stronger case for your service connection. And remember, continue to get treatment, whether you are 100%, whether you're just going, whether you're continuing to try to get something service connected, continue to get treatment for whatever you're going for. And remember, how do you get service connection? You need an in-service treatment, stressor, diagnosis, okay? Do you have the medical records proving whatever happened to you, whatever you're claiming, whatever condition you're claiming, back, knees, neck, shoulder, musculoskeletal, mental health, tinnitus, ringing in the ears, hearing, anything that you're dealing with? Did you get seen for it? And can you provide that while on duty to the VA, right? What caused it? Okay. Right? What caused it, and were you officially diagnosed? Okay. It's very important. In-service treatment, stressor, or diagnosis. I call them the big three. You need to have that. And remember, it's not over until you quit. And we don't want you quitting. It's not, you definitely don't want to quit. You don't want to give up. You want to keep staying in the fight. Okay. It's very, very important. You need to remember, if you do feel like giving up, what did you start this for? Okay. What did you start this for? What did you serve for? Right? Get everything that you can, everything that you deserve. You're worth it. It's very, very important to do so. So I hope that this video helps you. Again, if you have any issues with anything and you need to reach out, hit us up, info@veteransclaimservants.com, and hit up the VA, 1-800-827-1000. Call them, let them know, bad CMP exam. Take notes if you're going into your compensation and pension exam. Get the help that you need, right? Be proactive. Don't be reactive, okay? I know it's tough because we were trained not to deal with things, and we just sucked it up and we just pushed on, and the mission is first, and absolutely. But at this time, if you're filing for VA disability compensation, this is a mission. This is critical. It's very important for you, your family, your future, education, and so many other benefits that you get, right? And you just want to do it honestly, ethically. You don't want to minimize. You don't want to over exaggerate. You want to find that line, right? And you want to let them know honestly what's going on your worst day. And you need to let them know, okay? It's very, very important. So those are things you can do. That is what to do and how to rebuttal a bad compensation and pension exam. Do not give up. If you need anything, reach out to us. We care about you. Thank you for your service to our country. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.